Hello friends, Tony here. Now in this video let's take a look to the filament forms. So let's get started here. And we are inside the panel builder. Let's go to the getting started inside the resources. And here I'm going to select resource forms. I'm going to zoom it, this one, and here we have. Now resource classes contain a form method that is used to build the forms on the create and edit pages. And here is the example. And we saw also on the previous video this form method here inside the resources we have created. But we can use the form, if we go here to form builder, we can use the filament form builder also without the panel builder, so as a separate package. So if you go right here, we can install with Composer. So Composer require filament/forms. And right now we need to specify also the version. Okay, now filament form package allow you to easily build dynamic forms in your application. You can use it to add the form to any Laravel component. And we can use also on app resources, action models, and table filters also, and more. Now let's open the VS Code, and here we are inside the country resource, and all filaments form has a schema. Now this is an array which contains fields and layout components. And if we go to the employee resource, so here we have a form schema, and here we have fields. Now, fields are the inputs that your user will fill their data into. For example, here we have a text input, and each field has its own PHP classes, as we can see. So, for example, the text input class is used to render a text input field. We can add inside this schema layout components, and if we go to the form builder, scroll down, here we have a layout. Now layout components are used to group fields together and to control how they are displayed. For example, you can use a grid component to display multiple fields side by side, or you can use a wizard to separate fields into a multi-step form. You can deeply nest layout components within each other to create a very complex responsive UI. Now, forms within a panel and other packages usually have two columns by default. If we go here and let's navigate to the employees, go to the new employee here, as you can see we have two columns by default. But we can change that if we go on the employee resource, and here we have a schema, and in the schema we can change a columns method, and we can specify how many columns we want. So for example, let's say 3, and if I save and come here and refresh, now we have 3 columns, as you can see here. Now because this is alone here, we can make this to take the full width, so only this field to take the full width. And this is the date hired, so we can go to the date picker, which is for the date hired here, and in this input field we can change the column span full, and this is going to make this to take a full width, as you can see. Now let's add the section layout component. So let's I'm going to cut the first name, last name, and middle name, cut them, and add forms \components \section, and call make here. And inside this make we can add also the title. So let's say, for example, user name. Also we can add a description. So let's say description, and say put the user name details here. And then we need to change the schema, which is similar to the form schema, contains an array, and let's add the first name, last name, and middle name. Let's save and let's see now on the browser what we have. So if I refresh, yeah, here is the section, as you can see here, with a title, username, and here put the username details. Now the first name, last name, and as you can see here, takes the full width. And if you don't like that, you can go here when you have a section and change the method columns and specify how many columns you want. So let's say, for example, 3. And if I save and refresh, now we have 3 columns here. Okay, let's do the same thing for the others. So I'm going to cut the address and zip code together. Say forms / components / section make, and here I'm going to say user address, and then change the schema and add an array with these 2 fields. And also, because we are here, let's cut this one, and we need to add a comma here and do the same. So forms / components / section, and say make here, and just I'm going to say dates, and here change the schema, add an array with these 2 fields. And let's save now, come here and refresh, and yeah, here we have. Now I want the this one to be 2 columns, so let's go to the user address section and change the columns to be 2. Save, come here and refresh. Okay, now also for this one, let's make this 2 columns. So here I'm going to change columns to be 2 and remove this one. Save and refresh, and yeah, we have this full width because we added a column span full. So let's remove and refresh now, and yeah, here we have dates, user address, and so on. Now as you can see, we have this red asterisk here, which means is required. And in Laravel, validation rules are usually defined in array. So let's come here and let's scroll up. And in Laravel, we have, for example, an array and specify here the rules required. Also, for example, max 255, or we have a combined string. So let's also show that one. Required pipe and max, for example, 255. Now this is fine if we working with backend with simple form request, but Filament is also able to give to us a front-end validation, so we can fix the mistakes before any backend requests are made. So in Filament, you can add validation rules by using the methods required, as we can see here, or max length, for example, 255. So the same we have here. Here we have a text input. The text input allows you to interact with a string. So in this case, we have a first name, last name, middle name. If we go to the, let's save this first, and let's go to the user resource. Here we have email, and as you can see here, we change email method. So here you may set the type of string using a set of methods. So in this case, email or password. We have also numeric like this. Also we have TEL for the phone number. We have URL for the URL type. Also we can specify the type by saying type here like this, and on the string specify, for example, a color. And if I save it like this, and let's open the user resource. So here let's go to the users, new user, And as you can see now, the password, because on the password we say type color, if we click, this is type color. Okay, and let's remove this, go back to password. That's it all about this video, to show you the form in Laravel Filament version 3. All the best, and don't forget, if you like such a video, subscribe to my channel and share with your friends. See you in the next one, friends.